Hi, I'm Ann Mendelson of Mendelson Group, and I'm a past president of the Chicago chapter of Cornet Global. And I'm very excited to be here today with Vicki Noonan. Vicki is managing principal and Chicago market leader of Cushman and Wakefield. And this is going to be the best interview of all interviews. As everyone is looking for inspiration now more than ever, the Chicago chapter is creating 15 Women in 15 Minutes. And I'm very lucky to be interviewing Vicki today, as she is one of our leading women in Chicago. So Vicki, thank you for being here with me on this recording. We're here to have fun. I always like to have fun. That's how I used to start my my luncheons. I always had to get up in front of people every month and talk, and that was really nerve-wracking for me. So I look at this as we're going to have a fun 15 minutes.
Perfect. We could all use some fun.
Absolutely. So Vicki, you've had an incredible career in Chicago, and I was fortunate to hear you speak earlier this year, and I would love for you to share your journey with us.
So it has been a long career here. I didn't plan to be in real estate. I was a secretary at Tishman Realty and Construction while I was finishing my undergrad. And then when Tishman Speyer opened its offices, I went with Tishman Speyer and as a secretary while I went to law school. I fully intended to be a lawyer. I was going to save the world. And I was naive about what being a lawyer was all about. And so the last semester of law school, I was doing due diligence for some properties we were buying. And as a result of that, at the end of it, the general counsel asked me what I was going to do. And I said, I don't know, I haven't interviewed. I've been living in this conference room. So he said, well, why don't you help us out in brokerage till you find a job? And then I guess I'm still looking for that job because I stayed in brokerage the entire time. So that's how I got started. You put your head down for that first year to learn the business, and you're just so concentrated on it that when you take your head up, you go, okay, I guess I'm not going to practice law. But I did practice law, actually, because I negotiated leases for a living for over 30 years, and a lot of that legal background was helpful.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's very exciting. And did you have any mentors along the way that have inspired you that you would like to share a little bit about?
Actually, our outside counsel at the time when I was just learning the business was Ginny Aronson from what was then Sidley, Austin, Brown, and Wood.
Oh, yes.
And she had the patience of Job, and she taught me how to be a good lawyer and do my job. So she was one of my very early mentors and helped me in my career. And as did my boss, Bob Belcaster. Bob gave me the freedom to learn as his assistant so that I could ask questions and do things and take initiative, and he encouraged it. I also would tell you that Jerry Speyer was very influential in how I look at things and how integrity and what's the word I'm looking for? Sincerity is so important. I remember him saying that if you shook someone's hand, that's your word, and you have to live by your word. So he was great, and still is, to this day.
That's fantastic. I think it's always fun to, reminisce about where you started and people that were influential back when you started and along your career path, and how it's influenced you where you are today, which I would love for you to share a little bit about where you are today.
So all good things came to an end at Tishman Speyer. I was there until 2016. And I really did not anticipate this journey. I figured I was already, I was close to 60. I thought I'm retiring earlier than I thought. Maybe I'll sit on a charity board, maybe I'll do some volunteering. And Sean Mobley and many of the brokers in this office called me and said, you have to take this job. I'm like, why? Why would you want me for this? I've never run a business like this before. And I think the brokers were the ones who were so inspiring to me because I would be their boss. And they said to me that, Vic, we think you'd be perfect for this job because your team at Tishman Speyer says you push them to be better. You catch them when, you know, they're out on a limb and you've got their back. That's what we need. That's the kind of leader we need. And that's what we want. And I was like, well, I can do that.
You can.
I can, and I've done that. And I think part of me was, it's been a fun journey. This office has grown. I have recruited into gaps into our service line. So I've had fun doing that. And I continue to catch and push. And
I love it.
And I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Although I'll tell you, in this Zoom environment, so exhausting. It feels much harder and I'm a people person, and to not have that connectivity with people face to face has been a struggle.
I can concur with that thought 100%. But this was a good segue into any thoughts and predictions for the life post-COVID, since you heard about Zoom. Obviously, no more Zooms, hopefully.
Yes, or selectively. Let's put it that way. So I actually think that we will get back to some sort of normalcy. I think the office will still be a place for meeting, greeting, connectivity, collaboration. I still think that that's going to be part and parcel of what we do. But as we've said, this is the largest work from home experiment ever, and we've learned a lot of things about it. I think you can be extremely productive, but I think it's actually harder to set the boundaries in this environment because you're literally walking out of your bedroom into your new office, and the days and hours blur. You lose track of what a work week is or what it wasn't. And so I think it's been much more important recently. I would say for the first 60 days, you're just like nonstop. I've really had to put boundaries on it. It's like, I'm not going to open up my computer before 7:30 in the morning. I'm just not going to do it. And I'm going to turn it off at 6 o'clock and say, okay, we're going to be done. People know they can call me. If they call me, I'm absolutely be available, whatever, but we're not brain surgeons. So it's not like you have to find your balance there. So you have to
agree.
But I also think that we've also seen, I think it's hard to get a promotion. I think it's hard to do real thoughtful collaboration because frankly, sometimes you don't know what the question is. It's when you would run into someone and say, hey, I was thinking about you and and they're like, no, I meant this, and it's like, and then you got another idea and another idea. It's like, oh, I'm so glad I ran into you, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I think we all miss that.
But you can't do it on the phone because you didn't know what to call, No. So I've been checking in with people. So as soon as the city allowed us to social distance and go out, I got in the car and went and saw my team and went to their respective places and sat in their backyard or took them to a lunch and sat outside, or just because it was so important that we all stay that connectivity. So I'm due for that second round. I did that about a month ago and I'm due to do it again.
Oh my God, you're such an inspiration on that point exactly, because I haven't heard a lot of people. I think you're the only person I've even heard of that's done something like that. So that's fantastic, Vicki. Let's move into a couple other questions because I want to be mindful of our 15 minutes. What advice do you give your loved ones, kids, spouse, partner in this landscape?
Unfortunately, I am recently divorced, so that is it's a new existence for me. in this existence, I'm just telling everybody, stay positive. Look on the bright side of things. First, you're still employed. You've got a job. It may not be the perfect job, but you love it. You keep doing it. The next one will come along. It's time to take stock of what we have and be happy and be fortunate.
Absolutely.
I really, my mom and dad lived with me for over 20 years. They were in the first floor apartment, and I miss them terribly. And I think spending so much time at home these days, and they were always there, I think it's just so tough. It's just tough. So, but yeah, I got 5 siblings and 13 nieces and nephews and 9. I'm a great aunt to 9.
Oh, fabulous.
So it's been fun. And we had a new baby in February, and nobody's seen him because we haven't been able to get together. So for Easter, I socially distanced and brought Easter baskets to all of the kids so I could see him. So we would be, she was on the porch with the baby, and haven't got to hold him yet, but
That's fantastic. Okay, so let's just, one personal thing, well, several, but I have 2 questions for you, but we have to chat fast. One is that, can you think of a time when someone criticized you for something, and how did that result?
I would say early in my career, when someone criticized me, I didn't take it well. I took it far too personal and didn't really heed what was said. And then as I aged, it was a time for self-reflection. And I think that's the thing that is the most important, is some criticisms are worthy. You've got, okay, I take that. I'm sorry. I didn't intend it to sound that way. I didn't this. And I think just to be authentic about that criticism is good.
Fantastic. And one last question. The first place you plan to travel when the borders open back up?
Well, I think this year I'm going to travel in the United States. But next year I'm going to Italy. I've gone for the last 2 years in a row, and I love it there. So
no, I know exactly what you're saying. I love Italy as well as France. So Vicki, it's been very exciting, as I knew it would be, to spend some time with you today. I wish we could keep chatting because I just love hearing you talk, and just more importantly, getting to know you. In closing, do you have any last words of encouragement, inspiration for our chapter?
I think one of the things that we've all learned is how important friendships and family are. And I think I want people to reach out. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while, do it. They would probably like to hear from you, and you'll be inspired by what they say. I've reconnected with several of my girlfriends from grammar school, and see each other. And I pick up the phone and call my brothers much more than I ever did before. And so, and my sister, and I think it's important to stay connected.
I agree. That's fantastic. So Vicki, I just want to thank you so much for your time today. And I hope that we can get together again really soon. And I'd love
maybe have a glass of wine.
We'll have a glass of wine. And I would love for you to spend some time with some of our members, particularly the women in Cornett. I think that you'll find our chapter really inspirational. We have a just fantastic group of women, and
I look forward to meeting them.
Thank you. Well, listen, have a great day. I'm going to stop the
too.
recording, and I'll chat with you soon.
Thank you.